these are some keywords or buzzwords that, if in your medical file, can really help your Social Security case. The first one is the word severe. Social Security wants to know if your condition is severe and whether the severeness of the symptoms results in workplace limitations. Having mild or moderate symptoms in your medical records is not really going to move the needle in your case. Another word that is helpful in a Social Security case is frequent. Social Security is consistently looking to determine how frequent or limited you are and how impactful that is on your work. So if you are someone that has frequent falls or frequent seizures or needs frequent breaks, the documented frequency of those needs, of those symptoms, can be impactful. Another term that I often see in medical evidence that is useful in a Social Security case is constant or chronic. Typically in the context of pain, constant or chronic pain that can interfere with your ability to sleep or to do basic activities like cooking, cleaning, laundry, or grocery shopping can be very impactful when presenting a case to an administrative law judge. Another word is unpredictable. You do not need to have a condition that results in predictability every single day, that you have limitations that prevent you from doing stuff every single day. You can have, and many people do have, unpredictable symptoms. That can be like a migraine. You can have unpredictable migraines. These can occur once a week, 3 days a week, 4 days a week, but the unpredictability is what is going to make your case. Another term that I see often with cognitive cases is the inability to concentrate. And simply reporting that you do not have the ability to concentrate is not enough. This needs to be documented by your medical providers, and often the best or the gold standard of evidence is a neuropsychiatric report or a neuropsychologic study that would indicate an individual or you have challenges concentrating. Another term that is often helpful is forgetful. And again, this isn't typically you reporting that you're forgetful and telling the judge that you're forgetful. This is in the medical records. This is something your doctor is saying that you're experiencing. So if you're experiencing forgetfulness and it's in the records, you could be missing appointments, you could be missing work, you could be showing up to things late because you're forgetful, and having that in the medical records is important. Another term that I see in the medical records that helps people is bad days. Now, people with most conditions have good and bad days. If you have a condition like edema in your legs or lymphedema, you might have good and bad days. So documenting the difference and the frequency of those good and bad days is important in a Social Security case. Another useful term is the need for help, whether that's around your home or in the workplace. If you're unable to do your chores, those activities of daily living, the cooking, the cleaning, the laundry, grocery shopping, those simple activities, if you're unable to do them without the need for help, that is useful to an administrative law judge. In addition, we see the word need for help in the context of being able to work. Maybe you're not able to do the work you once could do without special assistance in the workplace or the need for help. Having this documented in your medical evidence, in your medical records by your treatment providers is very useful in a Social Security case. Another term is unable or limited. If the doctors, if your medical treatment providers, even your physical therapists are saying, you're unable to stand for more than 30 minutes, you're unable to walk without a walker, or you're very limited in your ability to sit and stand or get from sitting to standing or vice versa, that can be very helpful. The last term that I think is so helpful and I want to leave with you is fatigue and exhaustion. If you're experiencing a condition like chronic fatigue syndrome, just saying that you're fatigued isn't enough. You have to have that diagnosis, and the medical evidence should flesh out exactly kind of what those fatigue symptoms are. So if you need an additional nap or 2 every day, and these aren't those luxury naps that you get on the weekend, or I'd like to take on the weekend, but these are naps that keep you functional without getting sick or making your condition worse. If the fatigue and the exhaustion are that impactful and that's in the medical records, that can be really helpful. If we can help you with your Social Security case, our information's in the bio.